Hi, it's Joy and Taker, and you're watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Season 1, Episode 5, Truth. I'm so excited. This show's been fantastic. This is the penultimate episode, which is quite sad, but it's also very stressful, and the ending of the last one was insane. You can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. And before I start, I just want to say really quickly, I got some comments on my last reaction of people disagreeing with me and saying that because somebody is a criminal or a terrorist, they should just be killed. Point blank, just kill terrorists. And no, people have rights. If someone has surrendered, it is your duty to arrest them. Yes, I can understand that Walker was not in the most sane frame of mind, but he wasn't even facing the person that killed his friend. He was just facing someone that had been part of it. So yeah, at that point, knock him out, arrest him, and ensure he gets the harshest sentence you can possibly give him. That would be getting justice for your friend. So I will never agree with anybody who thinks that once someone has surrendered, you can kill them. And, you know, it wasn't one blow, it was many blows. Yes, he just watched his friend die, but, I mean, I don't necessarily think he is pure evil, but at the same time, he is not someone that should be Captain America. He is also not somebody that should be put in a position of power over others by being in the army, as a soldier, or any other thing. Right now, he needs to go to a psychiatric facility where he's under lock and key, in my opinion. If you disagree with me and think that just because someone has committed a crime, you can just kill them when they've surrendered, please stop watching my channel right now. But yeah, let's go. It's gonna be tense, I'm sure. Yep. It wasn't him, he wasn't fighting back, he could have just bumped him on the head, knocked him out, and then he'd not be a threat to anybody. Like I said, he's not evil, he's not a person I like. But you need to turn yourself in to your American authorities and go sit in a mental institution for the criminally insane for a temporary time, and then maybe go to prison. It's not totally on him, it's on the people that gave the suit to him, the people that gave him the shield, put the responsibility on him, knowing that he was a soldier that had already been through a lot of trauma and was not mentally capable. But what he does next is going to be very telling, and that sentence is already very telling.
We don't want anyone else to get hurt.
The scariest thing is that he could just get away with it. Oh, I love Bucky and Sam. Listen to them, John.
You don't want to do this.
Lady Roo. You are not worthy of it, you've just proven that. And it's a dangerous weapon in the hands of someone that is not mentally stable right now. Oh, yeah, good teamwork. Good.
Why are you making me do?
They're not! You need mental help! Please, get help!
We could have been a team.
You need help! John, you could have killed either of them very easily with one misplaced blow because you don't know your own strength. By that right, are they allowed to murder you once you've surrendered if you kill one of the others? Like, is that cool with you? Oh, Sam, be careful. You need a lot of help.
Captain America.
No, you're not, you insane man. Oh, God. Oh, fuck, thank God. He's a psychopath at this point. Like, he's lost it. He's flipped. Oh, God. Oh, come on, my loves. I love so much how I've seen people saying that Steve Rogers is who America wants to be, and John Walker is who America is in the international stage, and it's very true. The same would be true if we had Captain England. Like, we suck too, but we are very insignificant now. Oh, I know, Sam, it's Steve's legacy, but you didn't have any way of foreseeing this. Okay. Oh, God.
Alright, good to know you survived.
I'm glad Torres is still with us.
Captain America killing a foreign national in public.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a big deal, like international
Yeah.
incident big.
Steve gave that to him. It's his. He can take it back, in my opinion. It's quite. If this is the moment that makes him think that he's going to keep the shield, hopefully to wield it as Captain America, or to put it to bed forever, because, you know, it's Steve's legacy and it's something that no one is worthy of, or something along those lines. It would be very symbolic of the new Captain America, the one that took over, was given it by the government when he gave the shield up, being the one to rip off his Falcon wings and kind of end his time as Falcon, ready for him to become Captain America. Would be very sort of, I don't know, just sort of very heartbreakingly fitting way of doing it. Although I feel like maybe he'd be a cool Captain America if he could also fly. Sam. Yep. The worst thing is there would be some idiots, like the ones in my comments, who would agree with him. Good.
Senator, I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation.
You need to talk to counsellors.
I understand that.
You need...
By your mandate, I dedicated
Yeah.
my life to
And that's a messed up system that you're working for, I'm afraid.
You built me.
He'll become a criminal now. Like, they did. They should pay for him to have therapy.
Consider yourself extremely fortunate.
You are very fortunate. Who is this?
Well, these boots, it's kind of a legal gray area.
What is her goal plan? Is she like a sort of special, like, secret organization type person, or is she a criminal person? She could be laying lower. I mean, if you go around bombing people, you will get this kind of response.
Accused them of harboring and abetting international fugitives, so they raided the place and shut it down.
I mean, they did harbor and abet fugitives.
Pay with our lives just to be citizens of this goddamn planet.
Maybe if you didn't murder people.
Movement is ready.
She needs to stop and take responsibility for the fact that she escalated it to violence of this level. She blew up a building. She was trying to kill Captain America.
Decided I'm not going to kill you.
Oh, that's nice, thanks. That's everything he's put him through. I don't blame him wanting to make him feel a little bit scared. I mean, he murdered a lot of people. Good. Good, he should face justice in Wakanda.
We will take him to the rest.
Good. This guy's story deserves to be told, if he wants it to be told. People should know about him and what was done to him and the injustices he faced.
What I think it is, she died while I was in jail. They never let a single one of her letters get to me. Get out to me, Miss Box.
Disgusting.
He told her I was dead. They experimented on me,
It's disgusting.
trying to figure out why the serum worked.
And so disgusting because it's so believable.
Respecting black man would ever want to be.
I suppose because it's Captain America. You'd want to honour Steve's legacy, you'd want to try and make a difference in the world, but right now America's not exactly a country you should be proud to be supporting. The terrible, terrible thing is that, like, the fight against racism and inequality and for civil rights has progressed, but it has not progressed nearly enough, and it's ridiculous that there even should have to still be a fight.
Yeah, Paul, youngest boy from up the street.
Hmm.
Hey, Miss Patty, you remember my mom and dad?
Yeah, people that,
I'm back in town for it. That's why I'm calling.
if you look out for those around you in times of need, they can turn around and look after you in times of need too.
Yeah, we still got a bit of usefulness in it. How did you get it off the truck? Why didn't you use the metal arm?
Well, I don't always think of it immediately. I'm right-handed. Where's the boat, huh?
Bless.
You want any help?
Oh. I love their friendship so much, and I love that they would never admit how much they love each other.
I'm Bucky.
Sam.
Sam.
Just people looking out for people, that is just what matters in this world.
That guy, he's the one that killed our boy?
No.
Yes.
Being grieving people, I can understand the kind of wanting like murder Matt, like kill the person that killed someone you love. But I'd want that person to rot in jail. He's gonna go after Karli, right? He couldn't just let her go.
I can give you double this time. I promise you won't regret saying yes. So what's it gonna be?
Power broking. She's a power broker. She's not just art dealing, right?
Hey.
You were playing very loudly next to Bucky. What did you think would happen? Not that he minds. Oh, I love them so much.
I don't come up to this guy to tell you how to barrel roll or whatever, so don't come down here and start messing around with things you clearly don't understand.
Wow.
Bye.
Wow.
Off. Appreciate you.
He told me what he was planning. I don't think either of us really understood what it felt like for the black man to be handed the shield.
No.
How could we? How you an apology?
Mm-mm.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just that shield's the closest thing I've got left to a family.
Oh,
I mean, you question
I
everything.
love them being open and honest with each other.
Me. You know, I've got his.
You gotta stop looking to other people to tell you who you are.
Oh.
You want to climb out of that hell you're in. Do the work. Do it.
I've been making amends.
You weren't amending, you were avenging. You were stopping all the wrongdoers you enabled as a Winter Soldier. Start with one.
Oh. This is such a beautiful scene.
Good talk.
You still have a family, Bucky. Oh.
You know Karli won't quit.
Call me when you have a lead. I'll be there.
I love them so much.
Nope.
We're not that good.
No.
Mutual friend.
Friends now gone.
So we're a couple guys.
I can live with that.
BFFs.
Meant a lot.
Of course.
Oh, I love them. That scene was literally everything.
This is our history.
Yeah.
We can't lose this fight.
There's a fight out there, and then there's our fight here. And bro, you have taken them both on.
Like you said to Bucky, you've got to decide who you are for yourself. He is just taking it seriously, doing the work, kind of like he said to Bucky. His own version of the work, but he's starting to wear Captain America colours. Yes. Yeah. And giving people something to look up to. Showing those idiots that they're idiots.
Bonjour. Just get to me.
Is this the guy that Sharon was talking to?
We are criminals.
You bomb people.
And we get a killer.
I'm only here to kill the Falcon.
You'll get your chance.
See, Karli, we could have liked you. Now, I mean, the minute she started killing people, I could not have liked her. But her goal is not a bad
We
thing.
go to battle. All of us.
Her actions are despicable. She and John Walker are two sides of the same coin.
They can't stay where they are.
Yep. It's time. See if these wings or a Captain America suit or like a new suit or some kind. What would it gonna be? Wings in the Captain America colours. No! That was an absolutely fantastic episode. Every single aspect of it. I am so glad that nobody took what John Walker did lightly. Like, sure, there'll be right-wing bigots in America and around the world being like, you're a cool terrorist. But like I said, get off my page. If you somehow stuck around for the whole reaction, goodbye. I think it wasn't like that fight at the beginning, Sam and Bucky wanted him to go, yeah, I screwed up. Like, yeah, in the moment my friend died, I lost my mind, I surrender. And instead he fought them. And for someone that just murdered someone who was present during a fight in which his friend died, he could have killed either of them with many of those blows. Sam especially without his super strength, but you know, a lot of what he did could have been fatal, and yet would, like, he's just a hypocrite. I think this show is doing a really good job though of not just demonizing John Walker. Now I say that bearing in mind that I personally believe for what he did he should be in prison, maybe in a psychiatric facility for the criminally insane, getting some kind of PTSD style thing, but I personally believe he needed to have more than just a less than honourably discharge for murdering a man. I don't care if he was a terrorist. Maybe I can kind of see them doing what they did, but I feel like it should have come with a condition that he had some kind of therapy, because he's very clearly unhinged. But I think what the show is doing a really good job of is kind of highlighting that that is what a lot of these institutions do. A lot of the military type institutions is they take young people, they train them to be killers, to be soldiers. And a lot of, like, I personally believe people who join, like, the military, maybe the police, but it seems like there are just bad apples in the police at the moment. There is a mixture of people who truly want to do good and make a difference, and people who want to have power and be the one in control. There are two kind of people. And John Walker maybe started off as the guy who wanted to do good, but he was warped by his experiences. And we know that there is not enough healthcare for veterans. The minute you're a veteran, you know, there are waiting lists and there's not enough funding, and there is definitely not enough mental health support. One psychiatric evaluation could have told you he would crumble under the pressure of Captain America, especially, like, the vague mandate he was given, like, be Captain America. You don't have the same super strength as him, go be Captain America. You know, he wasn't given enough training or support or anything within the role, as we could see, and it led to this very avoidable tragedy, because the guy that died, yeah, as far as, like, we know he wasn't even, like, a violent person because he didn't know about the bomb, etc. He stayed with Karli, but that criminal did not deserve to die in the same way that Lamar did not deserve to die. Yes, he was a criminal, so he deserved prison, but it just, I think they're doing a good job of highlighting the fact that Walker was made this way by his experiences in the military, by his experiences, the things he went through, the orders he followed. He was not fit to be Captain America because he was just a good soldier. He was no longer a good man. I'm scared about what the weird blue hair woman has in mind. Maybe she works for the power broker, maybe she works for some sort of super secret government organisation. I feel like she's more like to be kind of a criminal thing, but maybe it's like a rogue government type thing, a black ops type situation. Walker's going to want to kill Karli, especially after he told the family, like, I killed the person that did this to your son. When he didn't. He killed someone that was there. So I feel like we've definitely not seen the last of him in this show. I'm kind of hoping, well, I'm intrigued because it could be that this is it. We're going to, like, John Walker is going to be in prison at the end of the next episode, or in a psychiatric ward in the end of the next episode, or it could be that John Walker is going to be a villain carrying on. I have no idea whether they're going to do another season of this show. I have a feeling they're not, but that's okay. He can crop up wherever he needs to crop up, I suppose. So yeah, like, I'm trying to not articulating very well. There would have been red flags and warning signs with Walker from a long time before. Definitely once he became Captain America, we could all see the warning signs. He should have been pulled from the field and given a psychiatric evaluation many, many times over. The government should have some responsibility for what he has become, but at the same time he did murder an innocent person, so the government can't really be like, have your full pension, because he murdered someone. I feel like he has a point in that them just being like, oh, this thing you did is so terrible, you can no longer represent us, we had nothing to do with it, is bad. But I truthfully do think that while there would be a lot of hatred towards him, there would also be a backlash against the military and the government as well. So the show isn't just demonising him, they are showing that he is a man that maybe once had noble intentions. But the very fact that he mentioned with Lamar that what they did, well, on their tours of duty, there were some things that they're not sure morally were correct, already shows you that he's crossed the line before in some way or another. I do not think that I will be happy with an ending for him, which is just him settling back into normal life. I think he will need to go into a prison cell somehow, because I think it would be kind of funny if he ended up like in the cell opposite Zemo. That would be hilarious. So on to everything else. Karli next. I definitely think, as we know, the serum amplifies who you are to an extent, and power amplifies who you are. Some people get power, and if it gives them a chance to do good for the first time, and she is wholeheartedly believing she is doing good, but with every violent step she takes, she becomes a villain that believes she's the hero, in the same way that Walker became that with that fight at the beginning. Willing to murder people because the council doesn't deserve to die, nothing like that. She is not a good person. She's willing to commit violence, she's willing to team up with a criminal who wants to kill the Falcon, when as far as she's concerned, the great wrong that Sam did was try and get her arrested, you know. I do not like Karli, and similarly to John, you can understand how she got where she got. She was someone that was wronged. She was fine. She didn't have the best hand dealt to her in life. She made the best of it. She was able to move to another country and kind of like create a life, and things were going well, and then that was all ripped away from her with no consideration for her. It felt like she was being screwed over, and all these people that she cared about were being screwed over. Other people were being given everything, and now there's this council of rich fucks going around deciding what's right for you and withholding supplies. You can see how you would be in that situation, radicalized into believing that you were doing the right thing and that you need to do anything, you know, it's us against them, when really it's everyone in it together. And if the council are viewing it as the people that came back versus these other people, you know, it would be chaos if you had people crossing borders when borders weren't really a thing anymore, and suddenly the population is back to what it is now. You're going to need to work out where it goes, and there isn't going to be room for the original citizens and the newer citizens. It's going to be a mess. Maybe the council's not doing it very well. Definitely, I think the conditions in the resettlement camps, the supplies in the resettlement camps and all of that, I definitely think we can see that they're not doing it very well. But sometimes you just have to accept that things aren't going to go exactly the way you want. They should make sure that every single person gets at least the quality of life they had to a degree. It's a mess, but I think what Karli is doing is actually going to invalidate a lot of people who might be peacefully trying to make the same argument as her. People trying to stand up for those people, they'll say, oh, they're all criminals, they're violent, they bomb people, they kill people, they're evil criminals. She's actually making her situation a lot worse. And I don't think she deserves to die. I don't believe any criminal deserves to die. I believe, you know, prison is what it's there for. I think she should be... maybe we can end the season, okay, with Zemo, John and Karli all sharing a little cell block, and it would be a great tea party they could have. That's how she should end up. I loved this episode because to me it felt in a way a lot like the first episode, in that we took a beat from a lot of the action. This was just, obviously the beginning of the episode, kind of like the first one, was a lot of action, but it was just, how are the characters doing now? Where are their heads at? What are they going through? And I think this episode did such a fantastic job of portraying just how strong Bucky and Sam's friendship is, even if they were like, yeah, we're just two guys, we're not partners, we're just a couple of guys, we're a new guy, now we're just a couple of guys. You know, I think it did such a good job of kind of showing how much they care about each other, how much they are there for each other without ever saying it, because they're never going to be the kind of people that say it. Starting off with Sam going to see Isaiah Bradley, I think, as we saw with what happened with John Walker, with kind of discussions of like the military and what it does, this show is not afraid to shy away from the difficult topics and from the harsh realities of the world we live in. I mean, I will never fully understand what it is like to be a person of colour in the world we live in, but I try my best to listen, to be an ally. If I were to ever do anything that was harmful, I would hope someone would say. So, you know, it's when Bucky said to Sam, I didn't fully understand, neither did Steve, what it would mean giving a person of colour the shield, what that would mean, that there would be this double-sided legacy of it. When Bucky was angry and everything, he was just seeing it as Steve, as this man that he loved, his family, his everything that mattered to him. And the legacy of Steve, if you can just wash out everything else, is a pure, wonderful legacy you would want to follow. But there is a lot more to it than that. And Isaiah Bradley, his story is heartbreaking. It is a story that just guts you, because you can believe you would turn on the news and find out that the government ran tests on black soldiers. Like, if that was on the news, I would be furious, I would be heartbroken, but I wouldn't be surprised, because that is the world that we live in at the moment and have always lived in. Steps are being made in the right direction, but the fact that we are still in this state now, where every day you turn on the news and find out that another innocent person was killed, or because, you know, I say innocent, I mean no one deserves to die. Like, it doesn't matter whether the fact that a black person with like a speeding ticket can get killed, a white person who's just murdered 10 people gets calmly arrested and given some water. That is the problem. I don't think anyone in that situation ought to be killed, but the double standard there. For Isaiah Bradley, he is a man that has suffered very directly. He has lost the love of his life. He has had to be dead. He has just had to disappear and never get justice for what happened to him. He suffered for 30 years. I at least thought maybe he volunteered for the program, but they were told it was a tetanus shot. They were experimented on against their will. All of his other friends died. He survived by luck, maybe because there was something in his body chemistry, or because what was in the vial he had was one that was viable. It is disgusting. It is disgraceful. It's the sort of thing that I honestly feel like when Isaiah passes, when he, you know, dies of natural causes of old age, they should tell his story. If his family agrees, of course. His legacy should be when he can no longer be harmed by it. I think some people mentioned that his grandson might be like a young Avenger or something, so I don't know whether maybe he passes down the super soldieriness through the bloodstream, or whether he's just going to kind of honour his grandfather's legacy by taking on some kind of a mantle. But it's just heartbreaking, and you can totally understand why Isaiah would view the world the way he does, why he would think, I don't want my story, like, if they'll just kill me, you know, they're not going to let me stand. How can you stand up for that shield thinking it means anything? How can you be self-respecting? But I think his voice is valid. His voice deserves to be heard. His experiences are still indicative of the society they live in. It's not like if he felt safe enough to go out and tell his story, it would mean that society had changed enough, and it has not. And I think it's really important that Sam took that message to heart, that Sam listened to him, that Sam really felt what he had been through and acknowledged that the shield is more than just Steve's legacy. Because while it's very easy to sit there and say, especially like for us viewers, that's just Steve. Steve was a great guy. It's his legacy. It's Captain America. It's red, white and blue. It is so much more. It is something that all of these racist bigots, Republicans, would stand behind and say, oh, Captain America represents us and our values, when he did not. He very much did not. It's not as simple for Sam as just picking it up. I do think a part of Sam's struggle with it was honouring Steve and kind of feeling like, could he be Captain America in much the same way that, you know, John Walker struggled with. But also, definitely, as people pointed out to me, was a huge part of it was, would America accept him? He'd always be Black Captain America. He would never be just Captain America. But I think for this episode, it was really important that he went home. He found those he solidified his connections with his sister. His sister, you know, she said, I never thought you were running. I always knew that, you know, you were fighting out there, you were fighting here. And the fact that he was able to say, well, look, people help people, and that is what makes community strong. That is what Karli is really fighting for. It was a world in which people help people. People looked out for each other. Now she's going about it in a terrible way in his prison. I'm not doubting that, but people need to help. So if you put out good energy into the world, if you were there for somebody else in their time of need, they will be there for you in your time of need, you know, and maybe not, they might not be, but there'll be someone out there that will be there for you. That is a world that I believe in. That is a world I would like to live in. I loved watching all of those people coming in and pitching in however they could, offering supplies if they had them, offering to help. It was everything. Bucky turning up with his favour from the Wakandans was for Sam, which gets me. And the minute he sees what needs to be done, that there's work being done, he offers to help, and he continues to help, and he bonds with Sam, he bonds with his family. He really, seeing where someone comes from, I think, is a really good way of seeing who they are in a lot of ways. And seeing Sam among his family, the love that was there, the love and respect, would have just reminded Bucky of perhaps potentially that kind of like the family he lost, but also of a family he could have one day, or for his own, but also being part of Sam's life, being part of this community, that there are good people in the world. And I love them working together to fix up the boat. I love that they're not going to sell it, because I think the biggest issue was the money to fix up the boat would mean that they couldn't recoup it, but they will get through because they've had help, that it didn't cost as much as it could have done. They fixed it up, and now they can make a living from it again. They can keep fighting for their legacy and their history, and that is so important, because we learn. I feel like you learn all the time about how the contributions of Black people in the world have often been erased from our history, and whether it's something smaller, like in the scale of things, of like one family's history combined with a bigger event, it's all important, and I loved that very, very much. I love seeing Bucky at home with them as well. So the scene between Sam and Sarah, I think towards the end, was very special, and how, you know, I think definitely what he said to Bucky about not letting somebody else define, stop worrying about what other people think, stop letting them define who you are, you decide who you are. And I think that was very much something that he needed to hit himself, and that conversation with Sarah really helped, because, you know, it's whether at the end of the day the most important thing for him is he worthy of being Captain America. And yes, if he becomes Captain America, I think it's quite like he is at the moment, but if he does choose to take up that mantle, it's his mantle now. It's not Steve's, it's not America's, it is his. He can define what that means. He can be someone that is supporting of the change. He can kind of be vocal on issues if he needs to be, but he can step up and show America that this is America. A good man who is hardworking, who cares about his family, is America. Doesn't matter what his skin colour is. But you know what, America? A lot of your skin colours are not white. That's fine. Like, I'm not explaining this very well, but I think it's important that Sam can, if they all call him Black Captain America or say he can't be Captain America, screw them. It's his. If he believes he is capable of it, if he believes that he can turn it into something special, just like Steve did, he is worthy of it. Steve believed in him, Bucky believes in him, his family believes in him. Who else do you really need? So my absolute favourite scene of the entire episode was Sam and Bucky with the shield, playing with the shield, I mean training with the shield, and having a heart-to-heart. That, the fact that Bucky was able to open up to him like that, the fact that Sam was able to be constructively criticism or just be there with him, you know, accept his apology, give him advice, shows the depth of their bond, and they both know it. They are brothers, they are best friends. They will never ever 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 admit that, but they are, and that was really, really special. For me, Bucky's story throughout all of this things has been very, very emotional and traumatic. And I think losing Steve would have been losing kind of his last lifeline to everything, and that's why you can see that the shield was a lifeline for him. And I'm really, really glad that he apologised to Sam, that clearly they talked as well about things Sam had learned, like the full scale of it all. And I'm really glad that he was able to kind of apologise to Sam for not, and acknowledge that like he would never have understood where he was coming from, and also kind of explain that it was never really about being mad at Sam, because it wasn't Sam's fault. It was all tied into his own feelings and his own emotions. And that's what, you know, I've been saying. It's what we've all been saying. That's what he revealed in the therapist's office when he said, maybe Steve was wrong about me. And I think that's why it's so important that Sam was able to say to him, look, it's not about Steve. It's not about anybody else. It's about who you want to be. And do you want to be someone that just goes around avenging crimes, or do you want to be someone that is there for people and helps like you have here? And I love that. And I think that is the hardest thing, telling someone that you care about, a good man, that while under brainwashing, you killed his son. It's closure, it explains what happened, that man is desperate to know, but the thought of doing it, it takes a bravery that I don't think I know if I possess. I'd like to think I did. It is a huge step. But I think Sam believing in Bucky, because kind of saying that to him, being like, telling him what Steve thinks doesn't matter, just what you think matters, is important, because Sam believes in him enough. Sam thinks he is a valid person. He is good enough. You know, he just needs to stop beating himself up, to like make amends because of what happened, but love himself, care about himself. I'm not explaining anything well. Just that scene was so special between the two of them. Just the connection they formed over the course of these 5 episodes has really strengthened the one they already kind of had. I think they went into this being begrudging friends because of Steve, and now they are just brothers, and I love that. And Bucky's, you know, I hope in the next episode we're going to see him with the old man who he was befriending before, he was being there for, giving him closure, or hear about it at least. I know we kind of ended things with like dramatic fighting happened, but maybe the episode could open with Bucky doing that and then getting called away to the fight or something, or the episode will end with him with that. I don't know, but you know, Bucky said like, when you find the fight, when you know where Karli is, call me, I'll be there, we will stop her. And I love that a lot. This episode was just so good. I'm very stressed about the final episode because we've got John and the blue-haired lady. While they're wild cards at the moment, Karli and her people are doing that plan. They're in the building with them. Sam, I don't know exactly what he's got. Is it a Captain America suit? Is it new Falcon wings but in like red, white and blue or something? Or like, I love that Bucky believes in Sam, and giving him that shows just how much Bucky does believe in Sam as well. And I love their friendship so much. Everything is happening. I'm glad that we've kind of got peacefulness with Sam's family, with the boat, that has been, we've got to dedicate an episode to it, that they're going to be okay. They're going to keep fighting for each other, they're going to keep leaning on each other, and they're going to be okay, and they have a community that supports them. Sorry, creaking a drawer. Oh, I love this show. Bucky and Sam are gonna stop Karli, I'm sure, but I'm stressed about the final episode. This show is absolutely fantastic. You can find the unedited version of my reactions on my Patreon, and with all my reactions, and thank you so much for watching.